May I also remind that we are running short on the time constraint. Please do not be offended if I will cut short you in between. I will play the role of the Christmas Santa, so please be kind upon me. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I try to be as crisp, as short as possible. It's a vast subject. I congratulate the organizers for organizing such a beautiful subject, the whole day session. And before I start, I understand that most of people sitting in this audience is essentially doctors. And before I start again, I would like to congratulate Dr. Lal, who has shown all of us the path to entrepreneurship. I think all of us should give a big hand to this success story, and which is recently in front of us. And simultaneously, a brief comment before I start. I do not know why doctors entrepreneur are entirely a different class as compared to a non-doctor entrepreneurs in medical field. So a lot of introspection required there for industry as a whole. So I'll primarily talk about three major parts of entrepreneurship. Why should one become entrepreneur? Why can't he always remain in the comfort of a very good job, a stable money? That's how your parents actually asked you to become doctor. It's a stable job. Otherwise, where was the need to put a lot of hard work into the profession? And when do you realize that you want to become entrepreneur? And thirdly, how? How do you become entrepreneur? And then briefly touch upon the latest opportunities around. So if you talk why do you want to become entrepreneur? Most of the people in this world actually follow one of the following three things: money, power, name and fame. But they suddenly realize after they achieve all these three things that there is no happiness either of these three things, whether alone or put together. And that is a time when they realized actually the happiness lies in creativity. And entrepreneurship is all about creating something. It creates jobs, it creates organization as a whole, it creates wealth, it creates a path to something giving back to society. But most of the people, if you see Bill Gates, you see Tata, you see Premji, what they have done after creating wealth. They have derived that happiness of creating wealth and organizations, but ultimately they derive further happiness by giving back to society. We have heard stories after stories about people actually parting the whole wealth they created throughout their lifetime to charity foundations. So that is the way forward. Power, money, and name and fame. Then of course you forget all these, but unfortunately you do not realize these two things which I said in the last unless you achieve first three things. That's the tragedy of the situation. So ultimately, if all of us are pursuing, if the essence of life for all of us is happiness, then probably the answer lies in entrepreneurship. But can everybody become an entrepreneur? And when to become an entrepreneur are two important things. So for when, I would like to say when not to become entrepreneur first. Who should not become an entrepreneur? That is more important than knowing that who can become. So most of the people you see what is happening in today's world, not in healthcare but in IT, most of the children who come out of their studies actually do not want employment. They do not want to work under somebody. They want to become entrepreneur from day one. But there are studies after studies which tell us there is only 1% chance of success. So probably if those people who become entrepreneur at an early age or a later date actually know what are the reasons not to do. Their few friends get together in a coffee shop in a final year of their profession and say, no, let's come together, like why can't we it will be very difficult to live life without you, you are my closest buddy. So why can't we start some organization? That is absolutely a wrong reason to start any organization. Then you have joined some job and you find your boss is awesome, is very terrible person, not going along with him. Every morning you come to office and go back. Very difficult situation. That is again not the right reason to start any entrepreneurship. You are failure in a career, but you think that you will be successful because you will be able to do things yourself the way you want to do. Again, not the right thing. So what are the right things actually? Right things is to know your knowledge base, which you have created over a period of time. You know the skills you have developed. You know your intellect. These are intellectual part of the things which you should know before starting entrepreneurship. You should know the physical part of yourself, whether you will be able to work 60 to 70 hours in a week, whether you will be leaving the comfort of home, whether you will be able to stay away from your family, whether you will be able to strike a balance between your family and work, whether your family allows or approves of what you want to do, whether you have been working in a very cozy position, and that happened with me while I was working as CEO of Primus Hospital. It was almost everything done for you by people around you, and you would only concentrate on strategy. But while coming on entrepreneurship, you go back to the stage of a manager. You have to be ready traveling in a non-air conditioning class of the railway or maybe economy class of the air. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to work without a secretary? So you need to answer all these questions at a physical and materialistic level before you decide you want to become an entrepreneur. At an emotional level, you need to decide whether you are able to sustain failures, whether you do not get depressed in life on the smallest problem, whether you have a quality of perseverance in difficult situations. That happens in every business. Not only in healthcare, it is more difficult. And at a spiritual level, are you ready to leave your ego? That is the most important thing. While I worked in 25 years in the commanding position with most of the entrepreneurs using their money, I was the most comfortable person, and my entrepreneurs would actually pamper me day and out. This guy should not leave my organization. He is an asset to the institution. So they will have to probably leave their ego before they do this for an employee. Am I ready to do this for my employees? Am I ready to leave my ego while working with juniors or employees? That's a very big question. Whether you are able to employ better people around you as a leadership team. Are you okay with a board meeting where somebody else speaks better than you on a subject which you are not competent enough to speak? These are the questions which you need to answer at a spiritual level. So these are the virtues of a person who is a right material to become an entrepreneur. Have you been doing something different than others throughout your life? Or you are a blue-eyed boy of your parents, you go in the morning, come in the evening, and then became the same thing for your wife, and you have been pursuing a stable job throughout your life. You have not done anything different in life. And it happened with me. As an example, I became a general surgeon, but I pursued surgery only for 5 to 7 years, and I was totally upset what I have done. It was a wrong decision. Had the guts to change, came into management, and finally became medical superintendent, medical director, and CEO of a hospital, and that led the path to the entrepreneurship. So probably you have to be ready to take that risk of being different than, most of the doctors say, what are you doing? You are a doctor and you are doing something else. Have you seen anybody asking a question to a IIT guy doing anything? IIT people, 90% don't do engineering, they do everything else. So why can't doctors do what they want to pursue in life? Yes, you can. And of course, it will be a brilliant idea to pursue entrepreneurship in the same field where you have graduated in. Then how? The question of how actually starts with the opportunities around you. And how do you actually figure out the opportunity? Opportunity comes to you by studying the past and deciding to go backward from the future. For example, if you need to do something in healthcare, if you know what has happened in last 25 years in healthcare industry in India, and if you are able to figure out what is going to happen in 5 to 10 years from now in this industry, and then move backward and start from today, you are bound to be successful. And I quote this with experience and an example. If you see the healthcare spectrum of 25 years in Delhi, all of us have seen that when we came to Delhi in '89, that was a time when smaller nursing homes of 300-meter size were considered as one of the best hospitals in town. And every doctor would like to be attached to these hospitals as a specialist. But today, all those nursing homes invariably have either closed down or on ventilator or being managed by the entrepreneur doctor. After they retire, they will be closed down. Smart ones have actually converted them into a single specialty hospitals like RG Stone, etc. or Vasan Eye Care. But none of them is doing as a multi-speciality hospital because somebody in the morning session, there are 2-3 people who said the opportunity arises from the need. I fully endorse this point because there was a need. Why people were at the last stage of treatment in that smaller nursing home will be referred to either Safdarjung or All India Institute or LNJP, etc. Many would die on the road and only few will reach and suffer a lot because they are not tuned to getting treated in an environment which they provide. So there was a need of a bigger setting where you can create a viable, sustainable, multi-speciality environment. And that is how bigger hospitals and Dr. Pratap Reddy, again a doctor entrepreneur, showed the way. He understood that there is a need. And because of that need, now you see the spectrum of Delhi. Practically, it has not only reached a super tertiary, it has gone to a quaternary stage. So that is a stage of quaternary care in metropolitan towns across India. That is a stage, if you see how it has evolved, you can predict future for the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. This is same thing is going to happen, and it has started happening in tier 1. All these corporate players have started moving to tier 1. See, Chandigarh, Patna, all those capital cities of India, state capitals of India and are bigger cities with a population base of around 5 million. You would see most of these players have started going to those places and started doing that tertiary care which happened in last 20